Hello everybody, this is Jose Blasco. We are about to start in like 15 seconds. Please go ahead, let's use this time for a sound check. Go ahead and confirm on the chat box please that you hear my voice. Quick message, quick hello would do. Thank you so much. So it seems that we just got to the top of the hour. Very good. Very nice. Okay, perfect. So let's begin. Everybody, let's begin our session today. Very nice. Okay, just getting organized here on my end. We are ready to start now. Now it's all good. So welcome everyone to the session. Today is November. Actually, I'm just realizing I had a little mistake with the date. It's actually November 12, 2019. It's not November 11. That was yesterday. My name is Jose Blasco. I will be your instructor guide in the session. I'll be guiding you into obviously the markets. More specifically, we're going to be looking at intraday trading. We'll be looking at futures and Forex, looking for short-term opportunities. As I said, intraday, plan the trades and execute them together. On your end, you are obviously welcome to join me in those executions. Of course, you are the one to decide if you want to use real capital or paper money or demo accounts, as well as the size, the amount of contracts or lots to be used in the trade. But putting that on the side, we'll be going over the whole process, beginning to the end, when assessing trading opportunities, so we make sure they are ready to be executed in a proper way, at least following the rules that we use based on our flowchart, isn't it? Anyway, before we start, we have a disclaimer. I'll do this quickly. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Traditive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through a demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. And this takes us to the end of the introduction. So we are ready to get started. We're going to start here with TradeStation. We have our radar screens ready. On the left, you can see we have our future watch list. In the middle, FX majors. On the right, FX minors. We also have from right to left smaller time frames on the left. Okay, 15-minute time frame, 60-minute time frame, and 240-minute time frame for the futures markets. The ones on the top are the most liquid ones, and as we go down, they are less liquid, still liquid enough to be traded, but less liquid. Therefore, we are using a little bit greater time frames, larger time frames. Okay. In the middle, we have the majors, which are very liquid. So we start with the 60 and then 240 as well. And then on the right, we have the cross pairs. We can call them the minors as well. And therefore, there the focus will be 240 minutes all the time. Okay, so that's the plan. We're gonna be looking for the gold flashing lights. Okay, the golden flashing lights is gonna be our alerts telling us that an opportunity based on climate may be available. So then we're gonna jump in those markets and begin planning the trades. Basically, the red screen is gonna save us time. So instead of having to look at all those symbols manually one at a time, we only go for where the alert is. And that way, as I said, we just save time. It does not guarantee the opportunity will be valid. Other rules may invalidate the trade, but in most cases, I would say probably we'll find a way to have the setup meet our rules. Looking at the list, how are you everyone? Wonderful to see you. Jay, nice to see you, Jay. Nice to see everyone. Kyle, very nice surprise as well to have you join us today for the first time, I believe. Very nice. Lisa, Dirk, Aris, Fancy, Geneva, Bojan, Thui, everybody. Very, very nice to see you all. Very nice. Perfect. Okay. So anyway, so let's begin. Okay. We're gonna begin with the futures. Okay, and we have a couple of golden. Actually, we have 3 golden lights. Okay. Little problem though, the one in the middle mentions the word hopeful, meaning that we already been 6 candles into a climate that would be 445. In other words, we are late to the party, so we're gonna pass. And the other ones on the top, we can see here the gray color show up, which tells us the climate is not confirmed. So we do have an opportunity, but it's a lower probability opportunity based on climate conditions, okay? But as we speak, the S&P is now flashing 6 out of 7 candles in a down climate, which is confirmed. Notice the color is not gray, the color is red. So let's go for it. I'm going to open the workspace with the S&P 500 futures, and we're going to start planning on a trade on the S&P. And from there, we'll keep looking at other opportunities. Of course, we're going to switch into Forex very soon in the session as well, since we are looking at everything. Okay, we're going to be ready to trade everything. Also, when loading up futures markets, you know the first thing I do is to look into making sure that we are using the correct symbol. In this case, we're using ESZ19. With the S&P, it's not critical. I don't need to look at it right now because expiration dates for futures, for indexes is every 3 months, so not a problem. But later, if we have trades with crude oil, gold, etc., where expiration dates happen more often, then we will need to double check we are using the right letter. In this case, the letter Z refers to the last expiration of the year, which is December. Okay. Anyway, so what do we have? As we saw on the red screen, we have a down climate. To be more specific, we got 6 candles out of 585. So we are borderline with late to the party, but we're still okay. Okay. Price is actually hitting the average. The current price is 3,088.25. The average is more or less the same price. So it's basically time to take a trade, but we do need, based on our rules, to have red UFOs at the current price, and we don't have red UFOs in any of the 3 edge timeframes that we use when we use futures. Okay, for some of you, you may have seen our methodology apply with one time frame only, which is fine. But with futures, since we are dealing with centralized products, okay, we are using not only the 2-minute time frame, we also use the 2,584 share time frame as well as the 1,597 tick time frame. Which that would not be possible or recommended to be done with spot Forex because of the decentralized nature of spot Forex. But with futures, certainly it gives us an edge on top of an edge, isn't it? So now, unfortunately, we have no red UFOs. We have a down climate, but we don't have red UFOs. So really, there is not much less to discuss about the S&P, at least for maybe, let's call it a few minutes. We'll come back in a few minutes to see if a trade is available based on a new UFO forming. The NASDAQ also is flashing a yellow light for us, but careful here because we have the word hopeful, 6 out of 4. Well, it means the NASDAQ has been falling for, statistically speaking, a little too long and is likely going to take a pause in the opposite direction or something like that. So not the good time to trade the NASDAQ either, okay? Okay, so while we're waiting for new opportunities to form, where we'll get to see those flashing golden lights, okay? The euro contract, the euro future is just flashing, but careful, non-confirmed market, gray color, so we just ignore it. So we'll be looking for new flashing lights, and while we're waiting for those new flashing golden lights, we're gonna now switch gears and move into the world of Forex. So I got my trading view here for Forex, and I'm gonna be working on 2 different setups just to make sure we are all in the same page. We got a 240.21, okay? So that would be one of the setups that we're gonna use. 240 for climate, common time frame, 21 for edge, AutoUFOs. And we will also be working on the 60 and 8. So 60 minutes for climate, 8 minutes for AutoUFOs, okay? So we have our trading view ready to go. But again, to save time, I'm going to be using as well the indications coming from the red screen, so I don't have to switch symbols one at a time. And here we can see that the euro US dollar in the 60-minute time frame has a confirmed climate with 4 candles down out of a market which potentially could drop for, let's call it 6-7 candles. So that's a potentially valid opportunity for us to explore, and therefore we're going to take a look at that one. Okay, so let's begin. I need to reset here my AutoUFO, which is reloading. Here we go. So what do we have? As we said, first we look at the climate, 4 candles out of 6 to 7. So we are in a proper place for the climate. Average price, it's 1.1024. So looking at UFOs, we have that UFO here located at 1.10235. I guess we all agree that we do have a situation where the UFO is enveloping the average located currently at 110.24. So that gives us a valid beginning for this trade. Just as a quick reminder, I'm gonna bring to our screen our flow chart. Okay, so this is the flow chart that we are utilizing. Again, to some of you, you may realize this flow chart got a few more options marked as optional, optional, and optional. So, and that one too, optional. So if you have not seen that before, make sure you watch the sharpening video on the YouTube channel where we talk about the flow chart, and you will understand what those options are for. But anyway, following the initial standard process, if you wish, we look at the climate. The next step will be to find a good target. So to find a good target, we're gonna stick with the common time frame, which is 60 minutes in this case, and we're gonna turn on AutoUFOs, looking for a green UFO. Since we are shorting, we are looking for the green as a target. Okay, so I'm just zooming out, I should say, until I find the green. And the green in this case is nicely located at 1.09885, okay, which is nice because it's giving us a certain decent amount of room for this market to fall from 20 to 80 is like 40-50 pips. So, you know, depending on the risk assumed for the trade, that may be a valid opportunity. And therefore, I'm just going to make a note for myself where in that note, I am writing down that for the EURUSD, my potential target as I am planning this trade would be 1.09. I'm going to run it up to 89. And then, of course, we add 2 because it's a decentralized market. So 89 plus 2 will be 91. So 1.0991, that would be our target, okay, for the long. Okay, Dirk, you have golden flashing for the Russell index. Very good. So I am not using the Russell in the class, and at the end, if we have time, I'm happy to check. Okay, but I would prefer to stick with the markets I'm using just because they are more liquid. Certainly nothing wrong trading the Russell, Dirk, and definitely very, very fast moving market. Less liquidity though, which is the reason why I'm not using it here, but certainly not a wrong choice, okay? Bojan, there was a Ruby UFO on the, on the S&P already hit. Let me take a look. Okay, yeah, it's not there anymore. So therefore I cannot plan on the trade, okay? Anyway, so let's finish the plan for the trade for the euro because it's gonna take no time to complete this plan. So we know the target is 1.0991, that's what we know. The entry, okay, so let's take a look at the entry. Okay, so we have red UFOs there, okay, and the red UFOs we have down here at 110.23, which is, we said it's a valid entry, with the top being 110.36. Those two UFOs begin so close. Of course, we will need to treat that like it's a one big fat UFO. Okay, we're gonna treat it like one. So basically, we're risking from 23 to 36. You know, it's like a little over 15 pips, something like that. We need to add our breathing room and everything. So we'll do that in a second. And the next UFOs are located all the way 60, which those are too far. So basically, the two UFOs below are the ones that are, involved in this particular trade. Okay, so let's go ahead and make some notes. Okay, I'm just gonna write the plan for the trade. So starting from top to bottom, we have the stop loss for this trade. The stop loss will be 1.1037. I am rounding up 110.36.8 to 37. Because it's a buy order, we add 2, so that would be 39. And because it's a stop, we add 5, so that would make it 44. The short entry price would be located at 1.09. Sorry, I just look at the target, 110.23. Okay, we need to talk about a safety target. Okay, which is going to be located at equal distance. So equal distance, let's do some math. From 23 to 44, we have 21 pips. Therefore, if I subtract 21 pips below, that's going to bring this value to 110.02. Okay, 110.02 plus 21 is 110.23. So that would be your safety target. And then our final target below would be located all the way to 101.0991, which is the target that we found earlier. So again, the trade is valid. I'm not gonna say this is the best trade of the year. We are not looking for the best trade of the year either, but you get my point, isn't it? From 110.02 to 110.91, we basically have 9 extra pips. So the moment you get to your safety target, okay, we are exposing ourselves to another 9 pips of profit, which is not, such a joyful event. Okay, so the plan is valid, and certainly we are meeting our rules here, so the trade could be executed. It will not be wrong, but we are a little bit penalized by that upper UFO, that being so close to the other one forces us to take them together like it's a big fat UFO, as I said before, and that is bringing our safety target down a little too far compared to what we would like better. You would like better to have that safety target to be, 110.15, something like that. Now in no time you remove the risk of the trade, and now you are exposing yourself to maybe another 20-25 extra pips of profit, which in this case it's not the case. It's only 9 extra pips. Okay, so since we're going to be looking for other trades, if you happen to not to be in love with this one, I believe that we should be able to find other trades, and if we were not to, then you can always execute this one given the fact that it's valid. Okay, so anyway, we just got it's 9:15 a.m. New York time. Okay, we just got an update 50 seconds ago. So climate has updated for many markets. For example, the S&P, as you can see, now changed to non-confirmed climate. Okay, so therefore I'm just gonna close this workspace. Okay, I just want to have in front of me what is relevant, and we're gonna be reassessing what is available. So what do we have? We have a flashing light now for crude oil, and the other flashing lights are unconfirmed climates. Gold is also unconfirmed, natural gas also unconfirmed. So basically we have one opportunity, which is crude oil, and that's the one we're gonna assess as we speak. So open the workspace for crude oil. In parallel, some of you know what I'm about to do. I am loading the website barchart.com, looking at futures contract specifications, so I can click energies. I'm gonna click on crude oil, okay, and make sure, here's my crude oil, okay, make sure I am charting the right letter, which here shows as Z, okay, but I'm just gonna wait a little bit for the data to load to confirm that Z or Z, if I was to use American English, is the expiration date that produces the greatest open interest and volume for that futures contract. Okay, normally it's always the case, or almost always the case, but not always. So it's always a good thing to take a look. And yes, indeed, we can see 179,000 contracts is the greatest volume that we find in the Z contract. Okay, so knowing this, I am glad to see that Z is the letter I have, okay, because that's the right contract to be used for this trade. Okay, so climate, what do we have? Blue climate is confirmed going up. 4 candles into the process, no need to count, we have the figure here. So 4 out of, let's call it 6, certainly we are at a right time for us to take a trade. Now, for us to take this trade, we will want to enter around the average price, which is currently 57.17. So we are looking at around 57.17. We are looking for green UFOs, okay, around 57.17, which would be the place where to get an entry. At this moment in time, it is obvious that we don't have any green UFO at that price, but it could take no time in the tick time frame and the share bar time frame for a new UFO to form. In the 2-minute time frame on the left, it may take a little longer because each candle is 2 minutes. But the one in the middle and the right, which is tick time frames and volume time frames, well, it really may take less than what we think, and anytime we could have a UFO show up. Therefore, in order for me to save time, just in case, and not to miss the trade, what I'm gonna do is to activate AutoUFOs, okay, on TradeStation. So we find a target for crude oil, okay, and here's where the target would be. So I make a note for myself, so then later if I have to rush to place an order, I'll do it quickly. So 57.6, that would be the long target for crude oil if in the end a UFO forms around the average without having a change of climate, and therefore we'll be ready to take the trade. Okay, so I'm gonna continue planning other trades since we don't have any UFO here yet, but you know, let's work as a team as we always do. And if any of you was to see one of those UFO forming, while I am looking at some other screen, please type it on the chat box. We know as well that with the YouTube streaming, we may have anywhere between 10 to 20-second delay in. Okay, here we go. We just have a UFO that formed here. As we speak, I was going to ask you to, you let me know on the chat box, okay? But we have a UFO that just formed. But look, I'm not gonna take this trade, okay? Even though the UFO is right there, I am not going to execute this trade. And the reason why is that 17, which is the bottom part of this UFO and also that UFO, okay? 17 happens to be the average, okay? And remember, I want the UFO to envelop the average, which in this case is not exactly the case, especially because I know that if price goes down, the moving average is called moving for a reason. The moving average will move down and probably peaks 16 or 15. And now, next thing you know, my average is going to be under the UFO instead of within. Okay, and my setup would not be valid. Having said that, we could certainly see price move up from that price because we have an up climate and we have UFOs. Okay, so that's what it is. But we are looking to put together those direct and indirect forces together, UFOs working in conjunction together with the average, and we're going to be disciplined to not to break the rules. Okay, and therefore we'll be watching this for another UFO that may form, or also in 10 minutes. Okay, or less than 10 minutes, 9 minutes now, we're going to have an update on the average that updates in this case every 15 minutes. Okay, we're going to have an update. And if this updates and ticks up to 18, 19, 20, then we'll go ahead and we'll use that UFO, but not at this moment in time, not as of yet. Okay, so discipline and a professional approach to trading goes first. And that's exactly what we're going to do as a team, as professional traders. Anyway, so looking at more flashing lights, nothing else in the world of futures yet. So let's go back to Forex, and we can see here the Kiwi, the New Zealand dollar, giving us a sensible shorting opportunity, 1 candle out of 6. So that is looking good. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if we could plan a trade on the New Zealand dollar. Okay, so 60-minute time frame setup. We are going for the Kiwi. Let's see if the Kiwi gives us a similar setup than the euro, but with a further away target. That would be very nice. So yes, indeed, TradingView shows us the same we saw with TradeStation, which is 1 candle out of 578 in this case. So beginning of a new climate for the New Zealand dollar. Average price located at 0.6336, and we do have a UFO right there, which let me zoom in a little bit to get to see price better. But yes, 63355. Certainly that UFO qualifies as a valid entry point. So that's better here in the sense that we don't have another UFO here as we had with the euro, so we don't need to look at this as, merging two UFOs together, creating a fat UFO. We don't need to do that. So in this case, the risk of the trade, the distance from the entry to the stop is going to be very, very minimal, and therefore potentially, let's take a look at the common time frame, but potentially we're going to have a much better location for the target. So step 1, we checked for the climate. It's a down climate, just started. Step 2, we check for green UFOs. Very nice, just like with the euro. The UFO is quite far away. So with the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, we are talking about 0.6293. That will be the target, but because it's a buy order, we add 2 to 93, and it's going to be 95, isn't it? So 0.6295, that's going to be the target. That's it. So I'm going back to my edge time frame to plan the trade. And really, I have everything I needed to have here. So I'm just going to make a note on the screen, and you guys feel free to execute this trade if you agree with the plan, which I guess you would if you happen to use the same rules I'm using based on the flowchart. So we have the stop loss point would be located at 0.63398, which is the reference. So we're going to run it up to 40, okay? And from 40, we're going to add 2 because it's a buy order and 5 because it's a stop, so they're going to be 47. The short entry would be located at 0.6336, 35. And therefore, this allows us to plan for the safety target, which is going to be located at the same distance. So from 35 to 47, we got 12 pips of difference. So I'm going to use that 63.35, and I'm going to subtract 12 pips. And if I'm not mistaken, that would be 23. So 63.23 plus 12 is 35 plus 12 is 47. And finally, we're going to have our final target below. Okay. Final target below, which is going to be 0.6295, which in this case, now you see that trade looks much more worth it. It doesn't mean you're going to profit. You could certainly be stopped out. Maybe the euro trade is going to work and the New Zealand dollar trade is not going to work, or vice versa. But certainly if this trade was to work, it does give you a much better benefit, because now the moment you surpass the safety target, which by the way is closer, it's only 12 pips of having the price travel your way instead of 20 plus pips like before. Well, now if you get to that point where the risk is gone, on top of that, now traveling towards the final target is gonna pay you another 20 plus pips extra, almost 30 pips, additional 30 pips out of a risk that you have taken, which is 12. So, you know, certainly these trades look more powerful. Of course, from a purely statistical point of view, the lesser the distance from entry to stop, which basically has to do with the width of the UFO, the more likely you'll be stopped out. Okay, but at the same time, if you don't get stopped out, you get a much better benefit, and in exchange for that better benefit, you got lesser of a risk. So this trade, as you can probably feel, it's a little more exciting for me compared to the prior one, even though the other one also met the rules. Okay, and really, I should rectify my own words, because you know there's no reason to get excited here. We're just trading. We trade every single day. We're excited because we are passionate about it, but we should never get excited because of one trade or another, because you never know. If I was to pick one of the two, you may get stopped out with the one you pick. Okay. In the end, we are approaching trading in the same way. So it's all a matter of how you want to execute those trades, and also other rules you may have in your trading account, such as correlation rules. Keep in mind, if you take the euro trade together with the US dollar, with the New Zealand dollar US dollar trade, you are basically buying dollars twice. Okay, shorting the euro and shorting the kiwi against the dollar means that you are long the US dollar twice. So you are doubling your risk. So if you're gonna take both, you know, make sure you go with half the size, because if the US dollar was to move against you heavily, you would then lose in both. Okay, so also manage your correlation risk. Anyway, the market is about to open in just 2 minutes 2 minutes and a half. Okay, so what do we have here? That UFO form. That's the same as before. In 2 minutes and a half, the average, which is currently 18, will also have an update, and given where crude oil is at the moment, I would guess the update will make it to be 1920, something like that. It's going to be a little bit of a higher value for the average. Therefore, this UFO would then qualify as a valid entry. So be ready to place an order on crude oil, because it is looking like we're going to place an order on crude oil. We may have a little bit of a push down as the market opens, and then we get filled immediately. Remember, when the market opens, when the US market opens, everything pick up speed. Okay, what else do we have? Nothing else. On the futures markets, nothing else. We got two flashing lights, which is the Euro and the S&P, but both are non-confirmed climates. And then we got another with gold, non-confirmed. So yeah, so nothing else. So hey, the focus at the beginning, as the market is about to open in 1.5 minutes, the focus it's going to be to go long crude oil using an entry price located at 57.24, as you can see here. That it's going to be our entry at 57.24. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and place an order, anticipating the average. Yeah, we got 1 minute and 10 seconds, so I'm just gonna go for it. So 57.24, I'm just gonna click buy. Okay, my stop needs to be 18, so I'll move it up to 18. From 18 to 24, we got 6. So 24 and 6 is going to be 30. So that's my safety target. And we said for crude oil, 57.60 is going to be the final target. So I'm just placing my final target there, located at 57.60. And now the market is about to open in around 40 seconds, as you can see. And we're going to get to see what happens. Again, I'll be watching the average to make sure it's between those values. Oh, by the way, I'm just realizing I made a mistake. I went for 18 instead of 16. Silly human error here. So let's move this to 16, which also means my safety target should be 32 instead of 30. Okay, we need the stop to be below the UFO, not inside. I almost made such a silly mistake. But anyway, rectified on time. And the market now will open in just a few seconds. The market just opened. Okay, and we just got filled on crude oil. Okay, we just got filled on crude oil. So we are in the trade. Okay, and now two things may happen. It starts moving our way, or we get stopped out. Okay, so we are in the trade. We're in. Of course, I'm not happy at all to see that red UFO form. We got stopped out in the trade. That was a quick one. Okay, so this trade ended up moving against us. Okay, which is probably a clue that tells us that 15 minutes from now, we may get to see a change of climate in crude oil. With such a fast stop out, it means all the buy orders were absolutely completely cancelled. Okay, and yeah, so that's what just happened there. And the first trade didn't work out as per plan. But we're gonna find other opportunities here. I'm pretty positive. Yeah, so flashing here is hopeful. That one is not. And crude oil still is the one that remains as blue confirmed climate. Okay, so yeah, normally I appreciate better when right at the open we have multiple markets giving us opportunities. So if one of these moves was to happen quickly against you, you can re-enter the market quickly, but it's not happening today. So we're gonna just use professional patience and wait for the setup that we need to form. Okay. No rushing, no anything. For the ones of you that have been in the sessions for a while, you know I often make the same comment, which is I love these trades when you get filled right at the open or just a little before the open, because if you're right, you start moving very fast toward your target, and if you're wrong, you get stopped out very quickly, which is a good thing, because if in the end you're gonna be stopped out, I'd rather be stopped out immediately than wait 45 minutes to then be stopped out. It's kind of like you wasted 45 minutes. So I do like this. What I'm not happy about today is the fact that all my other green lights are not giving me any opportunity, because all those climates are gray color, meaning not confirmed. Okay, so I'm gonna have to use that patience I was talking about today and keep trading Forex until futures opportunities show up, because even the NASDAQ, which is giving me a signal at this moment, it's a hopeful opportunity. And again, it doesn't hurt me to check the NASDAQ, but really I can see it's 8 candles out of 445. So probably the NASDAQ chart, it's not a valid setup. We'll take a look just in case, okay? Question here from Prag Hakara. Hi Jose, 2 queries. My number is different from yours on the red screen, even though same auto climate displaying while looking for long-term options in my TradeStation 10 taking long time to load. Solutions. Well, if you have a different values, it's because you have either different time frames instead of 15 or whatever I have, you may have something different, or it's because you went to right click, studies, edit, and in here you change the value for load additional data for accumulative calculations, and instead of 200 you have a different value. Okay, that's the only reason why you would have a different value, or because either you or I got corrupted data in our cache folder, and therefore the data that we have on our hard drive that is being analyzed by TradeStation is corrupted. In such case, you would want to delete your cache folder and restart TradeStation. Okay. When it comes to options loading, if that's okay, I will answer this at the speed of the light because options will deal with that tomorrow. Okay, but basically with certain computers or installs or Windows, TradeStation may end up running quite slow when it comes to the scanner. Okay, and therefore what you will want to do is to make sure that your timeout is moved at the maximum so your opportunities are loaded, but it will still take time. Okay, so this has a lot to do with your computer itself. It has a lot to do with the update of Windows that you run, as well as which build of TradeStation you run to. So I will need to get much more technical here to be able to answer this question. Anyway, so I'm just realizing we missed a trade here because a green UFO just formed again around a price level that I believe may have been compatible with the setup. And if I had seen that on time, we could have re-entered this trade to the long side, because the new green UFO that just showed up here, I just saw it for a second. Some of you may have seen it. That green UFO indicated that new buy orders were added, and entering there probably that got you already to your safety target or close to the safety target. But I didn't see that as I was looking at the chat box. Yes, Lisa, I'm just realizing you're 57.16 and you're right. Yes, Jay, we can never chase trades. Let the trades come to us. That's so true. Bojan, in and out. Yeah. Jose, is there a chance that you develop UFOs and AutoClimate also for another platform like TOS or Tastywork? A lot of us are getting more and more frustrated with TS. Well, my suggestion to you, Dirk, is give it a try with TradingView. Because we have it. I mean, the answer to your question is yes, this may happen. We may have it for other platforms, but TradingView is amazing, and you can link it to TradeStation. Okay, so you could do the same this way. Okay, and by the way, a little trick to be less frustrated with TradeStation is you do what I'm doing now, which is that you run TradeStation inside of a virtual machine, like I'm doing. You see what you see on the top refers to me running TradeStation in a virtual machine. So if I if I maximize down this window, okay, you can see this window is running inside my window. So this is a Windows inside of a Windows. So in here I got nothing. I got no antivirus. I got nothing. And TradeStation runs pretty okay. Okay. Jose, does TradingView has also red screen futures? No, it does not. Yeah, it does not. I mean, TradeStation is more advanced than TradingView, okay? But again, in the end, all of this is personal preference. So anyway, a new UFO form. I mean, if some of you were able to see that UFO that formed earlier and you took the trade, you are now out of risk, okay? Unfortunately, on my end, I was focused on the chat box and I missed it, but it's okay. But in any case, well, that UFO just went away, so no re-entering the trade. But if you're in, it's all good, okay? Anyway, so let's keep going, guys. We still need to execute more trades before the session is over. We still got 25 minutes here. In the future world, we got nothing for now, okay? Yeah, nothing for now. Okay, so Forex, what else? So we got the euro and the New Zealand dollar, we got that. What else do we have? We also have the Swiss franc in the 4-hour time frame, near sensible, 2 candles out of 5 to 6. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Swiss franc, okay, as well as the yen, okay? So Swiss and yen in a 4-hour time frame. That's what we're going to be looking at now. So switching to 240-minute time frame, Swiss franc is the first one we're going to check. So what do we have? So 2 candles into the climate. The average is 99.46, but we got nothing at 99.46. To be honest, we do have something in the range time frame, okay, 99.46, but hey, only 2 pips of risk, and this is where spot Forex is just a little trickier to trade compared to other markets. It's a fantastic market to be traded, don't get me wrong, but it's just a little trickier because it is nature of being decentralized. And when you're planning a trade out of a 4-hour climate, but your risk would be only 2 pips from 46 to 49, this is where it kind of makes no sense, okay? I mean, it's close to a utopia, isn't it? To be able to ride moves where in the 4-hour time frame sometimes are moves of this size, okay? Which is, 50, 80 pips, 100 pips, 40 pips, and you are only risking 2 to make all that money. So it's close to utopia, and therefore those are the cases where I choose to ignore that. I would not ignore it if I had another UFO here on the 21-minute time frame, and that UFO were to overlap in the range time frame, then yes, I would put them together. But if it's going to be only on the range time frame and it's going to be such a tiny UFO, you know what? It would be too good, mathematically speaking. Another way to say that is too good to be true, and therefore we need to be a little more healthily skeptical as traders and say no to this trade. When it comes to the yen, which was the other opportunity, in this case we're not going to be able to take it. Climate is good, 4 out of 5, so that's good, but we are below the average, okay, which means that this UFO here is below the average, is not enveloping the average the way we need, and therefore this trade will not be valid meeting our rules. So back to the red screen, we got a flashing light here for gold, but it's not confirmed. Out of curiosity, I want to check what's happening to the equities. Major move on the equities, market making all times high, beautiful moves, okay? Some of you may be quite happy with your options trades, the ones that we do with in our get-together sessions. I'm pretty sure some of you are enjoying very nice profits, okay? Notice how crude oil, it's having a level of volatility which is quite challenging, okay? Quite challenging, because we got to the safety target, but we never got to the 57.60 that was the final target here. So probably by applying some management, maybe you managed to trail the stop, or certainly with this speed of movement, okay? Certainly with this speed of movement, if you guys were in the trade, if someone was in the trade, because I was not, but hopefully some of you were probably applying the too far, too fast rule, okay? You were probably applying the too far, too fast rule, and therefore you locked on a little bit of profit before crude oil turned around and started dropping like the world is ending, okay? Now we have a new UFO that formed from 12 to 10, but that is below 19, so that does not qualify, for what we need, okay? More comments. Prakakara, thanks today. It was flash, but we'll watch the recording and then we'll look into it. Sorry for missing your trade. Oh, no, please. I didn't mean it this way at all. It's just, I was just describing what happened. I was not looking at my screen. You guys are doing a good job, and please keep asking your questions, okay? Because I rather miss a trade, but you guys get it because I give you an explanation. So then you can do it when we are not running a session together. Is that making sense? The week is much longer than the amount of time we spend together in the session. So of course, it's always fun. It's always nice to execute a trade together and see it happen and all of this. And for sure, I'm all for it. But my main focus is that you guys have the tools and the independence needed for you to run trades on your own. So please keep asking your questions, okay? I didn't mean to sound this way, maybe on how I phrase it, okay? Sorry for that, my friends. Jose, does TradingView also... Oh, no, it doesn't. I saw that question earlier. Irwin, a new green UFO in CL just formed. That was 1037. Oh, yes. So I guess you are talking about this one. Yes, but this one, Irwin, is below the average, okay? So the value is not lining up with 19, okay? Okay, good. So anyway, in any case, we're gonna have an update in like 2 minutes and a half. We're gonna have an update of climates. So I believe that normally what would happen is that some of those non-confirmed climates, okay, may now be confirmed, okay? Especially climates such as the NASDAQ, okay, which had like a major -2, -2 penetration on the opposite direction. So that NASDAQ is certainly changing from red to blue. Okay, so we may have opportunities in the next few minutes coming in. In the meantime, let's go ahead and look at the minors. Okay, this is trading, guys. Okay, we don't care what we trade. A trade is a trade. As long as it meets your rules, we welcome the execution. This is like you're a fisherman, you throw the net. You may get some sea bass, you may get some, I don't know, some red snappers. It doesn't matter what you catch. As long as you catch fish, we'll take it. So Aussie, Japanese yen, we have an opportunity here. 2 candles out of 4 in the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so I'm gonna change from my list of majors to minors. I got my Aussie yen. So loading the Aussie yen. Climate 2 out of 6, looking good. Average 74. We don't have a proper UFO there, but we do have a UFO here, 73 to 78. Okay, so now we are talking about 5 pips. So this certainly looks much better than before. So let's go for it. Okay, we're gonna look at the Aussie yen. I'm gonna go ahead and plan a trade with the Aussie yen. We're gonna be looking at the target, which is our step 2. So you look at the market climate. From there, you look at the target, which in the case of the Aussie yen, it's like all our trades in Forex today are too short, isn't it? So 74.33 plus 2 is 35. Okay, we add 2 given the decentralized nature of Forex, so we don't miss our fields. Okay, so that's our target, 74.35. And now that we know this about the Aussie yen, we're going to be looking into our entry, which is 73. 73 is the entry, 79. Okay. Yeah, we are not going to be able to get this trade. Let me explain. So 79 is going to be the top of this UFO. I need to add plus 2 and I need to add plus 5. Plus 5 because it's a stop, plus 2 because it's a buy order. So that means that 79 plus 7, that's going to be 86. And 86 falls within that UFO that is actually also connected with another UFO. So now my stop would be all the way above 75.05, making my risk to go from 73 to, let's call it 75.10. That is like 30 plus pips of risk for me to make maybe 40, okay, to drop all the way to 74.35. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the trade will not be worth it. Similar to what we saw in the euro, but it's looking worse in this case. We're going to have the safety target way too close to the final target. Therefore, the safety target, it's not acting as a safety measure any longer, okay? Anyway, so we just got an update on the climate here because we just surpassed 45. So all those 15-minute time frame updated. I think there was a flashing light for the euro. Okay, near sensible short 1, it was flashing a second ago. So let's go ahead and open the Euro's workspace. Even though it's looking like it surpassed the average, okay? I know that because we can see, I saw the gray value, the negative gray value inside the red screen. So that means we have surpassed the average, but it's certainly a market for us to watch. Yes, you see, we went on the other side of the average. So the climate, it's red, okay, 1 out of 6, okay, so all of this is nice, but we are above the average, okay, which means that we are on the wrong side of the average. On top of that, we don't have any red UFO, but we may have a red UFO anytime, and that UFO may be in the right location with the average. So I'm gonna leave this workspace open for us to monitor. And please, teamwork. If we were to if you were to identify a UFO, a red UFO on the Euro contract, please let me know if I was distracted with something else and I miss it, so we can take this trade. Crude oil. What else happened with crude oil? We got 23. Yeah, you would argue this one is valid. 21. Yes, it is. Yes, it's valid. So let me see, make sure I make no mistake. So yeah, so the average is 23. 23 certainly falls within that UFO. Why don't we have, oh, okay, I got it. So we got 6 out of 6, okay? So look, the trade we're gonna take with the crude oil, you know we have a 50% rule, isn't it? So if you take 6, okay, you take 6, you calculate half of 6 is 3, so 6 plus 3 is 9. So even though we already got to the limit, if you wish, which is 6 out of 6, we're going to give crude oil the opportunity to move up to bar number 9. But because we already surpassed number 6, we're going to take less risk on this trade. And to do that, we're going to use half of the size, okay? So if you normally risk 1% per trade, in this trade, go ahead and risk 0.5% per trade, etc. Okay, we're going to do this. So top is 42. Okay, 42.20. No, it's not worth it. If we enter at 42 and our stop is 20, right? We are risking basically 20 ticks. That's gonna place our safety target at 60, which 60 is our final target. So yeah, basically what's happening is that UFO is too fat. So we are not gonna take this trade. Okay, we are not gonna take this trade. based on our rules. Okay, it's almost there, but it's not there. Okay, so euro contract, any red UFO? No, not yet. Okay, so we'll come back. Anything else? No. Okay, so we'll keep working on the forex currency pairs. Let me take a look at your questions too, just in case I'm missing something. Jay, Jose, can you give me your figures for EMA? Is it 21? It's the 9 EMA, Jay. 9 EMA. That's the one we're using here. Okay, let me show it to you. So length 9, source is the close, and it's an exponential moving average. Okay, so basic stock, basic stuff is the most common of the common ones. Okay. So anyway, so next one, let's look again. Interested to see if a red UFO will form on the euro. In the meantime, looking at other cross pairs that may be candidates. Aussie yen, 3 candles out of 7 in the 4-hour time frame. Let's go for it. So Aussie yen, sorry, did I say Aussie yen? Aussie New Zealand dollar, that's what I meant. Crude oil, flashing lights as well. Again, we talked about crude oil, and unfortunately, we cannot take this trade, even though it's there, but we cannot. So Aussie New Zealand dollar. So what do we have? 3 candles. So climate is defined properly. Average, what's the value for the average? The value for the average is 107.97. So 107.97. So 97 is there, and we got nothing there. And 97 is somewhere there, and we got, sorry, 97 is there. Okay, 97 is there. And that's the end of the UFO. Okay, so unfortunately with the Aussie New Zealand, we don't have the proper location for those UFOs, and therefore we just pass. So we go for the next one. Okay, anything on the euro? Come on, euro, give us a red UFO, we'll take a trade. Euro New Zealand dollar, that's another possible opportunity. Euro still flashing there. So euro New Zealand dollar. Looking at the euro kiwi, up climate, 3 candles, that's good. Average 173.85, 173.85, I would say that's good enough. Okay, let me see. It's 89 to 73. Yes, it's good enough. It is indeed good enough. Okay, so we're gonna go for it. Okay, let's look for a target with the euro kiwi. So looking for a target for the euro New Zealand dollar. Wow, amazing. 1.7516. It's the location of the red UFO all the way there. Are we gonna get there? Well, remember, the further away the target is, the less likely you'll get there. Okay, now mechanically speaking, that's where it should be. So we will set the target there, expecting to go there. But in the meantime, we're not gonna be hopeful, and we're gonna be using all those different trade management rules in case something was to happen, to exit potentially, somewhere in the middle while it's traveling. Maybe we have to exit somewhere in the middle. So we'll do, and we'll collect whatever profit given to us, and we'll be very thankful to the market, even though ideally we get there. So 175.16, it's the final target. And the entry is 173.89. So let's go ahead and type it. So final target. So final target, we just said it, 17516. We need to define our safety target, which I cannot do yet. I cannot do yet until I define the long entry and the stop. So I'll come back to the safety. So long entry would be 1.7389. But because it's a buy order, we add 2. So it's 91. Okay, 173.91. And the stop loss that will be below, it's going to be 1.7373. And because it's a stop, we need to subtract 5. We need to add 5 pips of breathing room, in this case, to the downside. So that's going to be 68. Now, from 68 to 91, let me bring my mouse here. From 68 to 91, so we have 23 pips. So if I add 23 to 1 173.91 and I add 23 pips, that's gonna bring me up to 174. Let me make no mistake, 14. I believe I did the math correctly. Yes, I did. So 174.14 would be your safety target, and this is a beautiful trade from that point of view, where the moment you travel like 20 plus pips in your favor, you're out of risk, and now you got another 100 pips, potential 100 pips for you to make if that currency was to keep moving in your direction, okay? Which potentially is possible given the climate and given the location of the on-field orders to sell. So certainly not a crazy thought and not a crazy plan. So the plan is valid and it's in front of you, and I'm just gonna wait a few more seconds in case you're making a note. And we're gonna go back to the futures. I am eager to see if the euro give us a red UFO or hasn't. And certainly I'm feeling, how do I put it? Eager to execute some trade. It's always a special time for me to join you during this 1 hour session, and obviously I always very keen and really excited to be able to execute for you, because that's gonna unlock a lot of your potential to see me do it, so you can replicate it, especially for the people that you are newer. It's a great way to get you started somehow, and the moment you practice then yourself, next thing you know, you build your confidence, but there is always that first step. So for me, it's always, when I'm doing this session, my priority is always to be able to execute some trade for you, even if then the trade is not amazing, or even if the trade ends up as a loss, but at least get that machine running. Is that making sense? And today I have not really done much. I have done one trade, so I'm looking for other opportunities. Here we go. The yen is now flashing. Okay. By the way, I just told you I'm eager for this to happen. Here we go. Red UFO. I said I'm eager for this to happen, but I'm not gonna break the rules because I'm eager. Okay. We also need to understand that. So this is located at 41.5. Okay. Definitely meeting our average here. Okay, guys. So we have a trade with the euro futures here. Let's find a target. You see, maybe I should have said it before that I was eager to execute a trade, and the market would have listened to me and have given us some setup that allow us to go all the way to complete the plan of the trade. Okay, so I'm just going to be loading a collection of extra candles so I can get additional data to potentially find more UFOs. So it's pending data. Okay, so let me do this. I'm just gonna be a little more precise here. And just let TradeStation 2 do what it's doing. Okay, come on, TradeStation. You can do this faster. So I'm just gonna disable auto climate, and what I'm gonna do, let me tell you, I'm just gonna switch to a daily time frame just to find out what was the date where we got data below current price, so I can then load a specific date on my chart in the 15-minute time frame for the euro. Okay, come on. Well, earlier I told you about running TradeStation on a virtual machine. It certainly makes TradeStation more stable. As well, depending on how much resources you give your virtual machine on your computer, it may make TradeStation a little slower too, as you can see, because right now I am sharing some of my CPU with that virtual machine, so that virtual machine doesn't have my full computer power assigned to it. So the beauty is that you get more stability, but you also have less power. Okay, so again, it also depends on the type of machine you have. Okay. Franz, how are you, Franz? I want to ask about trade management. The climate change management is not optional. Can you explain a bit? When or what climate dot type should we close the trade? Okay, so it's very simple. Let's say you enter the trade and the climate is sapphire blue, meaning that you should go long, and you get into the trade and the market starts moving your way and you get to your safety target and it keeps going and going and going. You know what? Let me do some some drawing. So you get into the trade where the dot is, okay? And let's say the climate was blue, and now the market starts moving. And let's say your final target is all the way there, okay? But then somewhere in the middle of the move, now you have a change of climate where your blue dot becomes red, okay? Well, it would be better to exit this trade and start focusing on shorts to make money on the way down than hope for the best and hope that the red climate, you know, may drop all the way here and then changes to blue, and then maybe someday in the future you get to the final climate, so to the final target. It would be better to make a smaller profit with the blue climate, a smaller profit with this red climate, and another smaller profit with the blue climate. Those three profits together would be more than the net profit all the way to the final target from the beginning, plus you didn't get to be hoping for the best when that climate change. Okay, so you act in a way that is more realistic to what the market gives you. So that rule really is it's a rule for you to. It's not optional, as you said. If the climate changes in the middle of your trade, just get out. That's it, and that will not give you full profit, but at least you are exiting for a decent amount of profitability. So we need to load data all the way to September, let's call it, September 20. Okay, so that's what I need. So I'm gonna load data instead of 2 years, first date. Okay, wait a minute, minutes, first date, September 20, 2019. That's the data I'm gonna load. Okay. Translation sometimes is funny and changes when you change data intervals like this, it sometimes changes the style. I don't want to change the style. I want dot and close. Here we go. So we are back to where we were, and now with this I will then activate AutoUFOs to find out if I got anything green below. Okay, and I do. So my target would be located for the euro trade, the EC. My target would be located at 110.33.5. 110.33.5. That is the destination for my trade. Okay, so back to original parameters. 500 bars. Back to auto climate, and back to everything back to normal. Okay, so here we go. So it's been a lot of things going on here on my screen, so in case I got you confused, which I would understand, basically what I was doing is looking for where my target would be, isn't it? I had to load extra data for that. So now that I know my target would be 110.33, so I'm gonna set a 110.41.5 as my entry. That's the bottom part, and that bottom part is also 110.41.5. Okay, this is gonna be, keep in mind currency's got 5 decimal places, so it's gonna be very, very close to the average. It's 41 now. So if it gets to 41.5, this should be 41.5. Okay, so I would say the trade should be valid. So I'm just gonna click 110.41.5. My stop would be 44.5. Okay, so it's 3, so that's gonna be 38.5, and then my final target, we said 110.33.5. That's gonna be the final target. Okay, so this is the trade with the euro. We are just waiting to get executed right there where the red UFO is. Okay, that's the trade with the euro. In parallel, we have an alert here for gold. Let's take a look at gold. Is it a confirmed climate this time? Yes, it is. So 1 out of 3, that's gold. So let's go for gold. I'm just noticing as well that I did this way too quick, so maybe you didn't have time. Let me give you an opportunity to take a screenshot. I'll do the gold trade and we'll conclude the session, okay? So 110.41.5, 110.44.5, 110.38.5. This is entry stop and safety target. Final target would be 33.5. Those are the values. Okay, got it. Perfect. Okay, what else? Gold. So open the workspace. Let's go take a look at gold. Immediately when you load one of those markets, what did I say before? We go to barchart.com. Okay. We go to barchart.com. In this case, I'm going to click on metals. Gold. And we're going to get to confirm the symbol. Okay. In this case, is Z. Okay. But again, we want to confirm when the table loads. It's an important thing to do. Okay. So yes, we can see the greatest liquidity is right here, which is the Z. Okay. So great, quick confirmation and very important one. Okay. So what do we have? So we have the Z. All of this is good. What else do we have? 1 out of 4. So all of this is good. We have the average 145.4, 45.4.1. That would be here. Actually, we are hitting the average right now as we speak, basically. So no red, no red, and no red. We have a little bit of red just above, okay, just above here and here, but we don't have a red UFO. So we don't have a proper setup at the moment with the gold contract. But again, it's a matter of time. Just like with the euro, we didn't have a red UFO and then a red UFO form right here. So we may have this happen in just a little bit. Okay, so we just need to wait. Okay, in the meantime, we just got filled on the euro trade. Wonderful, perfect. I love this. Okay, and by the way, let me take advantage of this trade to mention something too. So we just we have the reactive timeframes here below, isn't it? So for the most conservative traders in the room, okay, instead of taking the trade the way I did, what you would do is wait for a red UFO to form in either that chart or that chart and then take the trade. Okay, so that would be more conservative, okay, and it would certainly be a valid way to do this, okay. So we're in the trade here, okay, and now we need the euro to drop a couple more ticks, and the moment the euro drops by a couple more ticks, we'll be hitting our safety target, just a little more. Come on, euro. In the meantime, okay, we are activating our time stop rule. Okay, time stop rule here. So we enter in this candle. We are now in the second candle. If the third candle we didn't get to our safety target, we will apply a time stop rule to get out of this trade manually, which is again one of the optional rules that we have right here, which is the time stop rule. Okay, so we'll be dealing with that in this trade. Okay, it'd be nicer, of course, that the euro just gives a little bit of a push, which should be the case given the climate. Certainly a little bit of a concern when I see that those UFOs are gone, meaning that they were on field orders and that's why it fell. But those on field orders are now gone. Okay, so that's a little bit concerning because now the only thing that we are relying on is the climate. The climate and the UFO and the moving average may bring more on field orders. So I would say we are likely to see new UFOs form, or at least probabilities are on our side for this to happen. But it's certainly not a guarantee. And the fact that those UFOs are gone and the fact that no UFOs are forming, at least for now, on the reactive time frame, it's telling me that we may need to act on our time stop rule, which it's often a technique that keeps us safe and that some of you have experienced it and developed appreciation for it. Some of you may have a different personality and you prefer to either give more time to the stop or not use it at all. That's why it's optional, okay? That has a lot to do with your own trading psychology, trading approach, preferences based on our mindsets, which are unique to all of us. So anyway, we surpassed the time for this session to be over, but since we are applying time stop, I don't want to leave you on your own for that. So I'll just wait 2 more minutes. We'll know if we're going to have to run the time stop or not. Third candle just started, okay? So third candle just started. So we're going to know very, very quickly if a time stop applies or it doesn't, okay? That green UFO is the one bringing prices up. That tiny one is the naughty one that is kind of not helping the trade to really progress. Again, like everything in life, it's funny how sometimes trading is kind of like black or white together at the same time. So like life. So what's going to happen is that it's either that green UFO pushes the prices back up and we'll have to exit, or if prices go down and go through that green UFO, how do you get rid of buy orders? you have to sell a lot to get all those orders filled. In other words, we are very likely going to see red UFO show up if that green UFO goes away, and that will certainly give us a much greater level of confidence that we're gonna end up reaching the final target. Never guarantee, but certainly increasing the odds big time if we were to see the red show up. Okay. The meantime, the longer it takes staying there, the more we are likely to going to get there. We are one tick away from the safety target. That's it. We just got to the safety target. So the trade is out of risk. Okay. And now we don't even need to apply the time stop anymore. Okay. No need to apply the time stop anymore. Now we are just riding the wave until we get to the final target, and we apply all the other techniques that we have. And that I will leave you on your own to do now that we reach that safety point. Okay. But anyway, everybody, super pleasure as always to be connected. Super pleasure to be your guide here. Loving the questions, loving your interaction. Keep up the good work, everybody. That's how you learn. You learn by practicing. You learn by, getting all those self-discovery situations where they lead to questions. So speak up, phrase them in the room so you'll get your answers. And, we keep growing all together as a community in many different ways and in all directions across multiple assets and multiple time frames. Okay. And the goal is just to be out there safe and to kill it. Anyway, everyone, again, as I said, my pleasure. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are getting together for options trading. So be ready for the longer term session. I'll be there. I'm counting on you as well if that's your style. And if that's your style, maybe if you're curious about what we do, join us too. You're more than welcome. Anyway, everyone, take care, everybody. See you soon. See you tomorrow, actually. Bye-bye.